Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. This video is about a crazy topic within the news. It's about the Russia-Ukraine crisis. A lot of things have happened since Tuesday of February. It depends on when you're watching this, and if in the future, God forbid, no one knows about this. But Russia has invaded Ukraine from three different angles. Putin calls it a special military operation, refusing to call it a war because I don't know if he's scared or something, but it's really not what he calls it for some reason. Biden and many other countries have addressed this forwardly in citing sanctions on Russia and its people. Most of these sanctions are just technological and import-export based sanctions, making it so after the war and in the future, because of this conflict, Russia's economy and just basically itself will be crippled. All these do not stop the ongoing hostilities. Of course, Russia is still in the process of invading Ukraine. It's incredibly quick how fast they've bombed and killed so many people. Hundreds of thousands of Ukrainians have fled their homes, and thousands were chased into neighboring countries, including Romania, Moldova, Poland, and Hungary. Many of these people were killed. Some 57 of them were killed, and many more wounded by doing this. It is not a pretty subject to be talking about, but I don't see many commentary channels doing it yet, and I believe that it is my duty to inform the people what is going on. So, more recent news just today, Russia has actually gained control of Chernobyl and many other sites along the border of Ukraine. All those sites that they keep infiltrating and taking over will lead to more and more coverage, and the entire Ukrainian system will probably, if NATO and other allies do nothing, Ukraine is likely to fall, which is not really an option for the world because it will show that we just can't stop Russia. This isn't even the most chilling of all this. Like, yes, all those was terrible and everything, but Vladimir Putin threatens nuclear attacks against the West in one of his addresses. The president said that the consequences of attempting to strike back following the country's invasion of Ukraine would provoke a response never seen in history. Little is known of what he actually means, but most likely he is concluding that a nuclear war is the only option if Russia is to be challenged. Many forces of NATO have been sent to Ukraine to counteract the ongoing hostilities, including US, as they send over 7,000 troops to bolster the NATO force. I do not believe this is enough, but I also believe that we should not join the war because that would most likely just cause more pain. I don't think any individual country should join. I think it is up to NATO to stop the attack, as a coalition is probably the best way. Much of Ukraine is under constant bombings. Air sirens are almost constantly going off, and it is scary for a lot of Ukrainians who have no idea what to do, have no security anymore. Many of them have been forced into makeshift, what's it called, air raid bunkers. This including subway stations and just like concrete bunkers, which is terrible to think of. Hundreds of people packed in such a small area just to protect themselves from what Russia's doing to these people. In total, I think Russia has bombed so many places. They've sent hundreds of missiles to attack Ukraine, and there's almost no stopping them at this point, unless some force will stop them. Biden's announcements of deploying ground and air forces to NATO's eastern flank even re-entering U.S. troops would not engage. He made sure that U.S. troops would not engage into a direct conflict, avoiding a direct war at all costs. Basically, we are bullying Russia into quitting. We have no direct conflict with them yet, and we are just trying to force their hand into quitting. But as I see it right now, Russia's forces are already deep inside Ukraine, and it is almost impossible to stop them at this point. Unless we file a direct confrontation of war, I don't think anything is going to actually happen that will go well for Ukraine. I do believe this is a loss if we do not do something quickly. Now, don't get me wrong, I am not one for war. I would consider myself pacifist in these times. I do not want to see anyone suffer, nor the common people of Russia or Ukrainians or anyone in direct conflict with anyone. I believe that we need to get this done as soon as possible to make sure to limit the amount of lives lost. I do not want people to die. As far as news is concerned, I'd stay up on with CNN and other news sources such as the Mirror.co for UK if you're there. It's just stay very updated because every minute that you are on the online is another minute that Russia is most likely just completely bombing and taking over Ukraine. Please stay updated, and I will play a short clip. It's around 2 to 3 minutes of Biden's address to Russia and its sanctions. So please do not berate anyone for anything. Do not attack Russians if you know any of them. Do not attack them for causing this, because the common people of Russia did not do anything to deserve such things. It is within Putin and his executive order to cause such a conflict. So, I'm gonna watch Biden talk for like 2 to 3 minutes, and hope you enjoyed the video. Like and share this. Make sure everyone knows about the conflict, even if they don't care. Make sure that this gets out there because it is incredibly important to the security of our entire world and the hope of the Ukrainian people to survive in such a conflict. I know I've said that word a lot and it's really cliche, but I'm not very good at talking. So, thanks for watching, and here's Biden's address.
Putin is the aggressor. Putin chose this war, and now he and his country will bear the consequences. Today, I'm authorizing additional strong sanctions and new limitations on what can be exported to Russia. This is going to impose severe cost on the Russian economy, both immediately and over time. We have purposely designed these sanctions to maximize the long-term impact on Russia and to minimize the impact on the United States and our allies. Our forces are not and will not be engaged in the conflict with Russia in Ukraine. I just spoke with the G7 leaders this morning, and we're in full and total agreement. We're going to stunt the ability to finance and grow the Russian military. We're going to impose and we're going to impair their ability to compete in high-tech 21st century economy. In today's actions, we've now sanctioned Russian banks that together hold around $1 trillion in assets. We've cut off Russia's largest bank, a bank that holds more than 1/3 of Russia's banking assets by itself, cut it off from the U.S. financial system. And today, we're also blocking 4 more major banks. That means every asset they have in America will be frozen. Between our actions and those of our allies and partners, we estimate that we'll cut off more than half of Russia's high-tech imports. We're also taking steps to defend our NATO allies, particularly in the East. Tomorrow, NATO will convene a summit. We'll be there to bring together the leaders of 30 allied nations and close partners to affirm our solidarity and to map out the next steps we will take to further strengthen all aspects of our NATO alliance. Let me say it again. Our forces are not and will not be engaged in the conflict with Russia in Ukraine. Our forces are not going to Europe to fight in Ukraine, but to defend our NATO allies and reassure those allies in the East. This is a dangerous moment for all of Europe, for the freedom around the world. Putin has committed an assault on the very principles that uphold the global peace. But now, The entire world sees clearly what Putin and his Kremlin allies are really all about. This aggression cannot go unanswered. If it did, the consequences for America would be much worse. America stands up to bullies. We stand up for freedom. This is who we are. When the history of this era is written, Putin's choice to make a totally unjustifiable war on Ukraine will have left Russia weaker and the rest of the world stronger. Liberty, democracy, human dignity, these are the forces far more powerful than fear and oppression. They cannot be extinguished by tyrants like Putin and his armies. They cannot be erased by from people's hearts and hopes by any amount of violence and intimidation. They endure.
Oh, before I go, I forgot to tell you guys, this do not get like super political within the comment section below. I don't know if anyone's going to even comment anything. I really hope not. But this is not a political debate on whether what he did was right. This is just a call out, I guess, to Russia and a plead for safety and security and most downright of all, peace. Do not hate on anyone in this comments. This is an awareness video. I will literally just delete your comment if you post anything hateful, because it's not the time for that. Come on, guys. All right. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe, and just send peace out to those who need it. Thanks for watching. I'll see you later. Bye.